Swipe Up, episode 226, the podcast where I share my unfiltered thoughts on the latest news and entertainment updates. I'm your host, Ray Taylor. AMC theaters to price movie tickets by seat location. This is, not surprising. It's just another aspect of what's happening in this country. Obviously, movie theater industry on the downward slope for a long time. Pandemic didn't help. But instead of changing the movie-going experience, improving the movie-going experience in some way to draw in more people to come, the only thing that they've done is increase prices. Right? The price of going to a movie today, far more than it ever used to be. Aside from the blip in time where Movie Pass existed and a lot of these subscription things exist, which still exists. AMC has a version of that, which if you're part of that membership, these changes will not affect you. So if you're a A-list stubs member or whatever they call it, you pay the same price. You can sit anywhere, right? You're a valued member. You're a person that exists on a level that is higher than everybody else because you're able to afford a subscription plan to their thing. But the initiative is based on a seat location within an auditorium similar to those you would find at any other entertainment venues, which makes sense on that level. But for the history of movie theaters, you bought a ticket and you sat wherever you wanted. It was a very democratic, first come, first serve. Enjoy the movie. You all paid, right? But now you're going to have people, which I don't know how they're going to enforce this, but now you're going to have people that spend more for the center row, right? And then you'll have the cheap seats. It's all based on Sightline. So if you're in the front row or side rows, that costs, depending on where you're sitting, costs less or more. And not like theaters are fully staffed. And even when I worked at a movie theater back in the early 2000s, the end of 1999, even the type of staffing that theaters had back then, the majority of people that work at movie theaters are kids. That is usually a job that kids will get out of high school or while they are in high school. So to think that children are going to somehow get people to follow the rules of where to sit is preposterous. It is preposterous, especially in an age where we saw during the pandemic, where we saw so many grown adults act like spoiled little children, not wanting to follow the smallest rule that actually impacted the health and well-being of other people. It's not just the inconvenience of sitting in a seat that gives them a better view of the screen. It is potentially passing a virus onto somebody that could potentially kill the other person or somebody that person is related to or lives with that may be immunocompromised, right? There's dire consequences to the people that did not want to follow a basic rule that was pretty effortless to follow. But they acted like grown adults, acted like their life had been put through into the most horrific situation. To have to put on a mask to them was the same as asking them to step up onto the stage and put a rope around your neck, right? They thought it was a death sentence. They thought it was going to destroy their life to put on a mask. They made excuses, just the most ridiculous excuses for why they wouldn't put on a mask. Grown adults acting like spoiled children, literally throwing tantrums in grocery stores because they were asked to do a basic thing, right? They already, in most places, you have to wear clothes. You have to wear a shirt, shorts, some shoes, right? And if you don't wear shoes, you can't go into a store in a lot of places, right? Imagine back when retailers first implemented having to wear shoes, and at that time seeing grown adults crying, these barefoot adults crying about having to put something on their feet. The exact same thing with how these grown adults cried and just like the most pathetic display of like privilege and like stubbornness and just like childlike nature at this minor inconvenience. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So, any of those people go into a movie theater, not want to sit, not want to have to pay the extra money, buy a cheap ticket, and just go sit in the expensive seats. There are going to be adults throwing tantrums in movie theaters. And the shitty thing is, they'll probably be doing it in the middle of the movie. You'll be going to a movie theater. There'll be somebody crying and acting like a baby because they sat in the wrong seat and they don't want to move. They don't want to be inconvenienced to do anything, right? Because they feel they should be allowed to do whatever they want, right? They are special. Everybody else, the world revolves around them, right? A 16-year-old kid who's got a job cleaning theaters is going to have to go in and try and talk to this adult that acts like a 5-year-old, a spoiled little 5-year-old, and there's going to be issues, just like there were issues with the masks. There's going to be stories about customer in AMC movie, an event, fight broke out. Adult, watch this video of this grown adult arguing during Shrek 5. I don't know what movie's coming out. During Avatar, Way of Fire. Whatever big movies are coming out. It's ridiculous. It's going to happen. And, if you hear enough stories about, oh, well, where do you want to go see a movie? And you have to go to AMC, where it's like, oh, remember that last time we were there, that one guy? We missed half of the movie because that one guy. And then, of course, movie theaters will hand out free passes. So it's ultimately probably not going to net them much more money. Instead of like actually making the experience of going to see a movie better. So 3 different options. The first option is standard seating. The second option is lower priced for the front row. And front row seats and selected ADA seats. And the third option is premium price for seats in the middle of the auditorium. The AMC Stubs members will be able to get discounts on the value Sightline. And A-list members will be able to reserve preferred Sightline seats for free. Well, it means they can reserve them for free, so they still have to pay. They're going to be paying more. I don't know what that necessarily means. I don't know. I guess reserve because they can just get any seat, so they don't have to pay any extra price to get the premium seating. Although if you go to a theater that's popular and there's a bunch of members, those preferred seating probably going to fill up with members. And then, I don't know, it just seems like this is going to cause tons of problems. Sightline at AMC is applied to all show times after 4 p.m. at participating locations, excluding Discount Tuesdays. The initiative is designed to provide a more personalized movie-going experience and to align AMC's seating prices with other entertainment venues. Other people are doing it, so why can't we do it? But like if you go to most other venues, you go to a concert and you get the nosebleed seats, you physically can't get into the higher priced seats because of security. It's not like movie theaters going to have security that check your tickets to allow you into the premium seats, right? You go to a football game, you can't just walk up to a box. You can't just go, to sit along the field, right? You can't just go to places. There are people that do not allow you to just freely go wherever you want, which in a movie theater, you can. So it's not at all like other entertainment events that literally have people and things that keep people from going into areas they didn't pay for, right? You can't just go backstage. Oh, but I got the nosebleed, so you can just walk backstage, and then if they catch you, then they'll kick you out. That's not how it works. But that's how it's going to work at AMC. But they're selling it. It's like, well, other people are doing it, so we're going to do it too. It makes it okay that we're doing it. Right? This is the latest experiment with movie ticket pricing by AMC Theaters as they try to recover from the effects of COVID-19. Right. It's a great excuse. We're recovering. As if movie theaters haven't been on a downward decline before the pandemic, which I'm sure they got plenty of government money from to be okay, to recover, whatever. AMC previously charged more for the opening weekend tickets of The Batman and offered matinee prices for all showings of $80 for Brady. So they increased prices when they knew a tentpole comic book movie was in theaters and gave senior prices to a movie they knew seniors would go to. I know. I guess it's interesting that they're trying stuff, but none of this seems like a good long-term plan at all. At all. I mean, people still buy tickets for a movie and sneak in, right? You can't keep people from going into a different movie, regardless, let alone sit in a different seat. Even if there's assigned seating, people will sit in whatever seat they want. And then you have some employee come up, or you're going to have a manager or supervisor come in, flashlight, completely interrupt the movie that's going on. None of that stuff makes going to a movie theater better. None of it. Kind of ridiculous.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at InspiredDisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at InspiredDisorder.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.